Welcome back to Good Day State Line. Spring is in the air and that means spring cleaning, but we're not just talking about your closet or your bathroom tonight. We are talking about spring cleaning our finances with financial expert Ashley Feinstein Gerstley. Hi, Ashley.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes, spring is definitely the season where we're like, okay, wait, we got to get out of this hibernation. We got to make sure we're ready to get going and enjoy the rest of the year. And one of those things we should really be doing is cleaning up our finances, right?
Yes, I love it. My number one tip is actually to purge expenses, expenses we're not going to miss or aren't using.
So how do we figure those out?
So how we do that, we look at what we've been spending so far this year, and then are there subscriptions that you're not using or that you forgot you had, which can very easily happen with subscriptions, or expenses that aren't really adding much happiness or value to your life. I'd focus on purging or letting go of those expenses first.
I like that, because if we're talking about just looking at like the year until now, until the spring, it's not too much to handle, and you don't have to look at any of those holiday expenses.
It's a good place to start. Yeah. Much more manageable, definitely.
So like, what do you think is a great example? You said subscription. So we're talking about like streaming services, that kind of subscription, or are there other hidden things we're paying for that we should look out for?
I recommend looking back over the course of the whole year, because sometimes our subscriptions are happening quarterly or annually, and we might miss them if we're just looking month to month. But to start looking at the last couple of months and just seeing what's happening in there, sometimes there's expenses that we didn't even make or that are incorrect. So just keeping a pulse on what's happening in our statements is really, really important.
I feel like the younger you are, the less you pay attention to your financial statements. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I feel like the pandemic and, a lot of the millennial generation started their careers during the Great Recession. So I think these different times of financial hardship for many have had younger generations be a lot more aware that things can go wrong or that the job market can be bad. And so I think it might have made them better at managing their finances in a lot of ways, and often more stress too, unfortunately.
Oh, that is for sure. So how do we then, so once we cut out the unnecessaries, the things I guess that we're paying for that we're not even really using, that's what we're talking about there. What do we do next to spring clean our finances?
I recommend making your finances flexible. Sometimes we need some time to pay for things over the course of time. And I've partnered with a firm. I recommend them because they offer a transparent way to pay over time on our own schedules for things like home essentials, last minute travel, electronics, and even car repair. And that's all without the hidden fees or compound interest that might come with credit cards.
So how do we take advantage of this? Do we just download something, or is there more to it?
Yes, there's an app. So you can go to affirm.com as well and get an app. And then oftentimes there's just the option to use it at checkout if you're looking to spread out your payments over time.
And then that helps us just be a little more stable with our finances, right? To be, instead of just throwing out the money in big chunks, kind of like taking our time to do it.
Yes, and depending what it is, maybe something came up last minute, or you don't want to pull it from savings and you want to be able to budget for it over time. Those are times when it's great to use it as an option.
I know your last tip for us is all about simplicity. So how do we simplify our life and our finances?
Yes, the simpler our finances are, the easier they are to track and maintain. A great place to start is with our bank accounts. We might have a checking account, some savings accounts that we might not be using, or maybe we haven't rolled over a previous company's 401k plan. We want to consolidate and simplify, and we could do the same for our budgets. The fewer categories we have, the easier it is to track it, to update it, and we can always add more detail in later.
I like that too, and I truly I'm right on board with you doing this in the spring, because you're all of a sudden like breathing a little fresher air, but you're not ready to go spend all this time hanging out outside, but you think you are. So instead, spend some time inside, simplify your finances, and then when summer rolls around, we'll actually be ready to just enjoy life a little more, right?
Exactly. Planning before we spend is always a good idea.
All right, Ashley. Where can we reach you if we have any other questions, or where can we get some info?
You can learn more about Affirm at affirm.com and follow along my tips at the Fiscal Femme.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, Ashley.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back with more Good Day State Line.